that, getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting for the final race of XSLR Season number 9, Round 16, all the way in Bathurst, New South Wales, Australia. I'm Adam Thomsen, and joining me for the first time this season and going to cause a lot of chaos and confusion is Adam Thomsen, the wet Thomsen. And also league admin of XSLR. And welcome on in, Adam, for the first time this season. Glad to have you in the booth.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. I was just looking at the intro screen and I saw Josh put up Adam Thomsen and Adam Thomsen. We're going to have a good time tonight. Obviously, last race of the season here for Cross Series League Racing, and we go to Bathurst. It's not like the Bathurst 12-hour. If anybody was involved in that, I apologize on iRacing's behalf for how crappy that was with the amount of rain they got. We're not going to have any rain tonight, so it should be a really, really good race. We can actually see what these GT3s can do, especially through that mountain section. It's going to get a little bit hairy there, especially the first few laps. probably really lap one, because you start going up the hill, the right-hander, and then you go up the hill through Griffin's Bend. That's when things really start getting wild. And there are always probably going to be a wreck at the cutting as well. And if there's a car sideways anywhere in that mountain section, Adam, nobody's getting through.
You are absolutely correct. It's called the mountain for a reason. It is a very steep elevation climb all the way up to about Skyline. That is about the highest point of the mountain. And then you make your descent from turn 11 and you go all the way down to turn 23. This 3.8 mile circuit, though, is home to some great motorsports events, such as the Bathurst 12 Hours with the Intercontinental GT Challenge, and of course the Super V8 cars with the Bathurst 1000. And tonight, GT3 action all the way around the 3.8 mile mountain, located again in Bathurst. What's up?
Speaking of GT3 action, I'm hoping that maybe we just stay here with Mr. Charles Bochelle or Slow Trickle, and we can do a lap around the track. He has just crossed the start-finish line. Probably, I think he is starting his first flying lap here. Through turn 1, it's going to be exactly what you saw. You got to be careful, though. You can lose a lot of time through turn 1 and also through Murray's Corner or through turn 23, but it is a flat-out blast. Get ready for a lot of overtaking opportunities going into turn 2, known as Griffin's Bend. Gonna keep going, gotta keep going. Breaking about that access road you saw there just before the 50. Get it right. Stay on that curve. You can see that corner's cambered. If you get too far to the outside of that corner to the left, you can push off into the wall. We'll see that. Now through turn 3, 4, and 5, the cutting here. This is what we were talking about just a little bit earlier. You got to get on the brakes, but you got to be brave on throttle because you want to get as much of a charge up the hill as you can. Now he is going through turn 7. He's about to come through turn 8. This is where things get a little bit more hairy as well because he's going to be coming down into Skyline very shortly. Turn 9 and 10, and here's what I'm talking about. Skyline. He is now on Skyline. Now you got to get on the brakes. You don't even know where the corner is. You're just hoping you got on the brakes in time. Right, and then left. Big bump here. You can get super loose. You saw Charles actually lock that left front tire up right there. But yeah, you can get super loose through there if you're not careful. And then now through Forest Elbow, again, an off camber corner. Going to cause a lot of issues. You can push off into that wall or you can get sideways. Now he's on a flat out blast all the way down to the chase. And now, if you guys have a drink in your hand, you might want to take a drink. Maybe you and I could have a conversation about how the weather is, Adam, because this straight goes on forever. It's still going now through turn 20, and now here comes the chase through turn 21. It's a left-right. You got to get on the brakes early, about the 150 board it looked like, and then back to the right. Easy on throttle. Great corner there by Charles Bochelle. Now, this is another corner where you can lose a lot of time. It looks easy. It is easy, but you've got to be brave on the brakes because of the way that this track is. These are those two corners that you can make a lot of time. Charles Bochelle comes across the line with a 2:10.010. Brad Cathcart, the Australian, look at him up there, 2:06.199, Adam.
That is absolutely a quick time there. Obviously finishing on the podium last Sunday at Phillip Island. And you mentioned something very unique there about turns 23 and 21. Out of the entire circuit, I would say turn 23 is the hardest corner to master. Why? Well, because it's got a little bit of a downhill slope, so you got to get on the brakes, but it's really easy to lock up, as we saw with Charles Bochelle as he was going through the dipper. And that is some of the things that we have to keep an eye on tonight, is some of these guys may not be so comfortable with the circuit as Jake Ham goes for a spin.
Speaking
the
of
XSLR champion.
Yeah, speaking of the XSLR champion here, and we also just talked about turn 1. That's another one of those spots where it is a simple corner because you don't have walls around you. One of the few corners where you're actually able to open the car up. And turn 1 is extremely important, especially on exit, because it is a flat out blast into turn 2. So you want a good exit so you can overtake or not get overtaken. But yes, by the way, Adam, Jake Ham is now officially the XSLR champion of season 9, and congrats to him.
Yes, there was a little bit of confusion from last week. We were provided some wrong information, we will say, and we apologize for that. But we do have the right information now, and the league admin, Mr. Thomsen here, confirming to us today that J-Cam is the XSLR champion, which we'll talk about throughout tonight's race, kind of just going through. And there's the points, the final points tally coming into tonight. J-Cam with 386 points. Of course, you, Adam, with 367 points. Derek Folk has made his way and made a good charge up into that third spot with Andy Kosick in fourth. Chad Gross in fifth. He joined us late in the season, but to get a top 5 points finish is an incredible run. Tyler Brown, same situation with him. Jason Green in that seventh spot with Jimmy Howitt, Kevin Irwin, and Ethan Orr rounding out the top 10. But there is still somewhat of a points battle going on, Adam.
Yes, there is. I was going to say, let's stay on this for just half a second. Oh, no. Josh just took it away. But there it is. So Joshua Suji, Brad Cathcart, Michelle Lynn. Look at that. 99, 98, 97. Look at those points. Michelle Lynn and Brad Cathcart are both here tonight. Joshua Suji is not. So he is going to get overtaken by both Brad and Michelle. Really, what this comes down to is who finishes ahead of who in that points battle for, realistically, 11th place. So that's going to be a good one to keep an eye on. And also Jimmy Howitt not here tonight, which means Kevin Irwin, just for showing up, is going to move himself up into 8th place.
All right, so there's a little bit of a storyline look. There's the rest of the points on your screen now, but let's get back into qualifying here. Derek Folk is now taking quick time here with a 203.65. Surprise, as he has been the quick man in GT3, looking for 4 wins in a row. You know who also had 4 wins in a row?
Don't bring it up. Adam, don't, just stop, Adam. You don't have to. You really don't have to do this.
I'm gonna have to bring it up. J-Cam, the champion of XSLR Season 9, swept the 87 NASCAR Cup car in Series 3 prior to the GT cars. So he would be the second person this season to sweep an entire series if Derek Folk wins this race tonight. So you couldn't even get a series sweep, Adam. That was kind of the disappointment, I would imagine, considering you had some great pace, especially in the Pro 4 trucks and the 410 wing sprint cars. I think the 87 Cup car, Jake had your number in that, but definitely those first 2 series, I mean, the opportunity was there to sweep.
You know where the disappointment lies is my commentators, right? My commentators, my confidants, the guys that I thought were going to have my back, just go and throw me under the bus and whatever chance they get. And it never changes. I'm talking to you, Mr. Wilkie. I'm talking to you, Adam. I thought you guys had my back and you didn't. But no, it's been an Go ahead.
Hey, I really can't say much because, you know, it all came down to strategy in that 87 Cup car for you. So, you know, some wrong strategies, decision. We can't really we can't crew chief and commentate at the same time. So.
No, it was an absolute. Oh, there goes Andy Kosick. And that's another issue. Again, we talked about that. The cutting is going to cause a lot of problems as well. And this is exactly what happens. Now he's got to Austin Powers his way out of here. So if anybody's behind him, they're not going to be able to get through. You get one car sideways through there, it's going to cause issues. Qualifying done. J-Cam does put in a 216. But before we get to the grid, I do just want to say this has been one of the best seasons of all time that I've been a part of. I've run XSLR now for 9 seasons, about 5 years. And it's been an absolute blast because of you, Adam, and Josh Wilkie, Ron Mons, but also all of the drivers that have made this such a cool thing to do. So yeah, it's really cool to see how much more we've got. And on that fact, now that we're looking at Andy Kosick's car, I was in Indiana a couple weeks ago, and we did get to meet. I got to meet Andy Kosick. He drove all the way over from Ohio, about 5.5 hours when I was back home in Indiana to see me, did some gambling, and he hung out at the house. And then also Kevin Irwin and Randall McGrew, who you guys may or may not know, came up to see me as well, all from XSLR and Slow Motion Broadcasting. So it's really, really cool to see the community that has been formed in XSLR as well. So just an awesome group of people. But we're here on the grid.
Yeah, let's take a look at our starting lineup for the final round of Season 9 of XSLR. On the pole position for his 4th consecutive time, it's the 78 of Derek Folk. But starting on his outside, is going to be the 905, the local man, Brad Cathcart. Row 2 starting inside the number 50 of Andy Kosick, and on his outside, the 28 of Chad Gross. Row number 3 on the inside, the 215 of Michelle Lynn, and on her outside, the 821 of Tyler Brown. Row 8, Matt Lass on the 98 car starting 7th, and on his outside, the 552 of Jason Grider. The full final row we got here tonight, the 021 of Charles Boscheller, aka Slow Trickle, and on his outside, the number 7 with the cheese car of Kevin Irwin. And our final starter, the XSLR Season 9 champion, the 85 of Jake Ham.
Well, let's mention this real quick, because this is a bit of a shakeup. You got Brad Cathcart and Andy Kosick 2nd and 3rd. Chad Gross in 4th, so they clearly have found some pace around here. That was just qualifying, and now we have 15 laps of absolute chaos, and you'll see exactly why I say that. We'll see how they can hold everything together here. Adam, I'll let you take it away for the start. Actually, before I let you take it away, you know what? You know how I know that you're an oval guy? You said inside and outside. This is left and right, brother. We are on the road course. Get rid of all those oval habits.
No, because they all start the same way. 7 McLarens, 4 Ford Mustangs. We are green here at Bathurst. Good getaway by Derek Folk, as he has quite a bit of a gap between him and Brad Cathcart. Gets to that outside line, and he will lead into turn number 1. Everybody trying to jockey for position here. Still single file, but now side by side further up. That is Tyler Brown and Michelle Lynn. Tyler Brown, good run out of turn 1, using all the power of that Ford Mustang to get around the McLaren. And finally, he does get by, solidifies himself into the top 5. And Derek Folk, though, just leading the pack all the way through turn 2. And now they ascend the mountain portion of Mount Panorama. And again, this is where things get a little dicey here. Cold tires. Everybody's got to just slow her down just a little bit. And everyone making it through. Looks like no issues. No one puts themselves into the wall early on here. But now they have to navigate the toughest portion of the mountain. These high-speed corners, making sure they don't shoot themselves out wide and getting onto the curbing, especially those bigger curbs. And Derek Folk, he is absolutely gapping the field here early on. Brad Cathcart trying to keep up, but it's going to be a tough challenge from here as they now descend the mountain through these tight, narrow corners. Luckily, they are slower, just a lot more tighter, a lot more windy, as now they finally get down into Forest Elbow, finally getting through the mountain for the first time tonight. We must have had somebody go off, because Charles is no longer an image.
Yeah, Slow Trickle. Well, there he is. He's there. Looks like there's a bit of a scuff there on the right side, right rear fender. If I saw correctly, it could just be the chrome on that Mustang. But while we're looking at Charles, oh, here we go. Looks like Jake Ham around the outside into turn 1. I mean, sorry, right side into turn 1. Yeah, Charles just lets him go there. That was an overtake, clean overtake there by Jake. I think Charles knew that Jake was quicker, and Jake has been quicker, but he just cannot get the qualifying right in these GT3 cars, Adam.
It's okay, Jake. I'm the same way. I can't qualify worth dang it, but I can get the pace down on race pace. So right now, gap's looking like this, a 1.7, 1.8 gap, almost 2 seconds between first and second place. And Brad Cathcart has now pulled a gap on Andy Kosick of about 1.5 seconds. So, but there's this nice little train here that's happening behind them with Andy Kosick, Chad Gross, Tyler Brown, and Michelle Lynn, the caboose of this train. And Andy Kosick right now, he is probably not going 100%. Neither of these guys. There's no reason to go super hard, super early here. It's 21 laps around Mount Panorama. You got to just keep it cool. Somebody's going to make a mistake at some point, and that's when you jump and have to take over. Now, you won't see any overtakes through here unless somebody goes into the wall, but even that can be risky. But now Chad Gross, he is just sticking right to that back bumper, really almost sniffing the exhaust pipes of Andy Kosick as he is in a Ford Mustang.
Family show, Adam.
Family show. He's sniffing the exhaust pipes. That's family oriented.
Whoa! Man. Whoa! Jeez, Andy got on the brake super early. You saw him get a little bit loose there. Almost goes into the back of Chad, or almost goes in. Chad almost goes into the back of Andy there. That was extremely close.
Now I can tell you that Ford Mustang does not like it when you have to brake super hard, especially on the descent of the mountain. I drove the Ford Mustang this year in the 12 hours of Bathurst. Never will drive that car again around this place. And because it's a front engine car, so all that weight on the front tires, and those front tires are screaming for help until they let go, and they let go quite early around here. And we're actually going to hit the part of the stint where those tires, they're going to be hurting. Going down the inside is J Cam on on Jason Greider, and gets it done through the chase. There we go. J Cam up another spot, now up 3. Taking another look at that inside move. And Jason Greider, I think, got a little nervous there. But J Cam says, thank you very much. I'll take that position cleanly and easily. And right now, J Cam on the charge right now to be the hard charger of the race.
Yeah, it's going to be funny. It's going to be interesting to see how aggressive Jake gets, knowing that he has the championship locked up. It looks like he's being pretty aggressive. Look, he got by Greider. 2 turns later, he's trying to make the move on Matt last. Matt just lets him go. Matt knows this is not his fight. Jake up another one. Now he's got 4 seconds to get to that train of cars, who is the caboose of Michelle Lynch. So we'll see what happens. Michelle may have just made a mistake, though. She's now 1.4 seconds behind Tyler Brown. I don't know what exactly happened there. Tyler Brown, Chad Gross separated by about 0.2, and then it's about 0.7 up to Andy Kosick. So this is still a lot going on here. Let's see what happened with Tyler Brown, Michelle Lynn here.
This is the beginning overtake here, where Tyler Brown using the full horsepower of. So let's.
Yep, another big wreck here. Tyler Brown just crashed. Tyler Brown, Michelle off the track there. That's where he lost a little bit. But as we were cutting to this replay, we did have a crash from Tyler Brown. Tyler Brown, oh no, he's backwards on the track still.
Trying to figure out. Kosick has also been involved in something. Tyler Brown.
What is he doing?
He hit the wall.
Is he going to turn around? Yeah, okay. All right, Tyler, you got this, buddy. You got this. All right, just gas it up. Okay, Austin Powers. Oh, man, insert the Benny Hill music. Come on, Tyler, you got this, buddy. Get it turned around. This poor man, Tyler, you are getting covered on all this. He runs into the wall, too. He's back straight. Tyler, I love you to death, but that was painful to watch, brother.
Well, the one thing, as Josh mentioned, is the traction control got him, and the traction control on this car is terrible. I will be the first one to admit it, but let's take a look at exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
Going downhill, yep, and lost it. Yep, that is the most common way this Ford Mustang will the front tires just go, and they're done. And that's exactly what happened there, and now he's just rolling backwards. Backwards.
Oh man.
I mean,
Jesus.
A plus for like the navigation going backwards down Bathurst. Like A plus there.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be in a highlight reel somewhere, Tyler, for doing that. That was impressive. Somehow driving it backwards halfway down the mountain. It's unfortunate for what happened though, and like you said, Adam, I'm surprised it didn't happen to Chad Gross. When Andy got a little loose in that McLaren, Chad had to get on the binders there, but he was somehow able to keep it straight because that was exactly where Tyler spun.
Oh man. Well, the mountain always provides a good show, but for Derek Folk, it is his track right now. 4.1 seconds to Brad Cathcart, which Brad Cathcart, again, probably one of the only people in XSLR that has been to Mount Panorama.
Yes.
And has seen this track in real life. It's one of my bucket list tracks to go see, either see the Bathurst 1000 or the 12-hour. Of course, I would love to see the Bathurst 1000 Super V8 cars. If you've never watched the Super V8 race, highly recommend it. It is so good.
While we're on Brad Cathcart right now, it's funny you mentioned that. We've got this racing team called Slow Motion Racing, okay? Brad and I are both in it. Brad has not really convinced me as much as told me that I will be running the Bathurst 1000 with him. So you're going to see me in an Australian V8 supercar in the Bathurst 1000 with Brad. And while we're back onto that subject, I want to mention real quickly, you see that paint job Brad had. He is gotten into paints recently. Obviously asked a little bit of my help, but he's really figured it out on his own. And he has done some tremendous work over the past month or two with paint jobs. It looks absolutely amazing, Brad. So great job, man. Keep going. And then maybe you can take some of the workload off my plate for slow motion racing. That'd be a great thing. Chad Gross, though, in third place right now. He's found his way around Andy Kosick, but they are still close enough. Andy can still kind of has a chance. Oh no, Kevin Irwin off the track, I hear.
And what has happened to the 7 of Kevin Irwin? Going into the final corner, gets on the grass and the curb, and that's all she wrote there. Gotta avoid the curbing there. Do not want to touch that curb. That curb is dangerous. Oh, nice job there, Kevin. Good. Yeah. No damage to the McLaren. Yeah, I will say I'm very shocked, and I say this with all respect. I'm really shocked I don't see anybody out here in a Ferrari. The Ferrari around this track is so incredible. It's so much fun. I count 7 McLarens, and I kind of just am wanting to pull my hair out.
So we can argue, if you want to argue on stream, we can, about how much the Ferrari pushes. That thing is basically, if you were to take a 1987 Cup car, which we were talking about a little earlier, and drive it around here, it might actually turn better than the Ferrari does. The Ferrari has absolutely no front steering, Adam, and that's why I cannot drive it. I think that's what a lot of these guys have issues with as well, is just getting the front end to bite in that car, especially in the fixed setup that they do here at XSLR.
My only counter argument is sounds like a skill issue.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I figured that one was coming. Anyways, on to Charles Michel now. Butthole.
I'm a big Ferrari guy. I've driven a Ferrari around here, both the previous Ferrari and this Ferrari. This Ferrari is very good around here. I'm surprised we don't see any Audis. I mean, where's the Audi love of this group? I look up, and again, it's a McLaren domination fest here, but right now Andy Kosick out in front in the Ford Mustang.
You mean you want to try that again? That's definitely not Andy Kosick, Adam.
I mean, not Derek Folk. I was looking at that. Derek Folk is out here in a Ford Mustang, putting to shame the McLaren name, allowing that American power. But I tell you what, the Audi, I'm a big Audi guy. I love driving the Audi, even the Evo. Evo 2, great car. I've driven it around multiple endurance races. I think it's still one of the best GT3s on iRacing.
It could be. The Audi, the one issue that I've seen, or that I've found with the Audi, is it's not as bad as the Porsche when it just tries to kill you for no reason, but it can get extremely temperamental sometimes. I think when you're trying to do races like this, like maybe an endurance race, you'd be okay. You get more time in it. You kind of feel like what it's doing. But when you're doing a 21 lap race and you're pushing basically the whole race, it can get temperamental. You can get on the brakes the same way, maybe just half a second too late or half a second too early, maybe catch a curve just a little bit the wrong way. The Audi, the Porsche, they don't like that. It's going to kill you. This McLaren, in my view, is probably one of the most stable GT3 cars on the iRacing platform, but it's also got enough compliance. You can get the rear out just a little bit. I think that's why a lot of these drivers are in the McLaren. And to that point, you see McLaren and Ford in this field. The Ford, I haven't driven the Ford since the update to the tire model, but that thing used to burn tires off. Yes, this is only a 21 lap race, but there is a lot of tire wear on this racetrack. So I'm going to be surprised to see how that Ford holds up towards the end of this race, because you know they're going to come in just to take fuel, probably not tires.
I'll agree with you about the Porsche. The Porsche is definitely a death trap. The first week of Series 4 of XSLR, season number 9, when I looked up and saw all the McLarens, it reminded me of ACC
yes.
lobby. you see a lot of guys drive McLarens and
Tyler Brown in the
Lexuses
pits.
because they are. Well, he's got damage, so that does not surprise me.
He does, and pit window's open now as well, so keep that in mind. So pit window has opened. These guys are limited to 45% fuel to make sure that they all have to pit. But Tyler Brown, the first one to pit, I would do the exact same thing just to get that pit stop out of the way. You're not racing anybody right now. You're not pushing to get into the pits. And if you saw that pit entry, it gets a little bit hairy every now and then if you're trying to push into that pit entry. You can cut that grass and really cause issues for yourself. Quick repair on. Let's see what Tyler Brown does. Still in the pits, 10 seconds now, 11 in the box, 12, 13. When are you going to get out of the pits, Tyler? There he goes.
Definitely getting a lot of fuel in that race car, and now he comes out. There's nobody behind him. Oh, you got to be careful of that white line, though. That's a little close. That was real close. That white line, it sneaks up on you if you're not paying attention. That's a good way to get a penalty and have to go for a nice little drive-through if you're not careful on pit exit. And you, like you mentioned, the pit entry that is awful.
It's gnarly. We got to mention drive-through and look at this battle between Jake Ham as he's about to drive through / past Andy Classic. Jake has made his way all the way up into now 4th place. Jake just got the move done going into turn 2. And by the way, Stephanie, hi Stephanie, how are you? Jake's wife cheering him on in the chat, saying get up there, Jake. Well, Jake needs one more position to get on the podium, and his pace right now, I think he can do it, Adam.
I think he can too. You know, maybe the reason why he his qualifying efforts, he probably didn't really put much care into qualifying, just wanted to do a last to first challenge. Granted, the last to first challenge is going to be really difficult when you have Derek Folk, who's now 5.5 seconds off of P2, and where right now Jake Ham is sitting, he is quite a ways back from that. So over 10 seconds, 11 seconds, I would say, almost 12.
Well, you
I'm
say
doing
that.
Quick math there.
But I'm looking here at lap times here on our live timing chart right now, and Jake's last lap was a 2:04.01. Derek Folk's last lap was a 2:04.58. So Jake is just a little bit quicker right now. Now you wonder how much he's pushing to get up into those podium positions and how much that's going to hurt his chances at the end with tires that may not be as good as Derek. Right now, Derek is just living life, about 5.5 seconds ahead of Brad Cathcart. Just, taking in the views. It looks like it's a beautiful sunset over there at Bathurst right now, and I think he's soaking all of it in. Look, he's even got his sunglasses on. He knows what he's doing. He's just soaking in that sunset.
Yep, he's turned on the radio, turned on the AC a little bit, used a little, if you have a little more fuel consumption, he's comfortable. He's enjoying this day. But if we turn the clock back to last week at Phillip Island, fuel became a problem towards the end of the race.
Yes.
And that was because guys had their fuel calculators off, which I went, fuel calculators? There's now apps for that, called Kerchief that can help you out on that front. I know it adds just a little tiny extra fuel, but at least you get to the end. You also have the iRacing auto fuel feature. So when these guys said their fuel calculators were wonky and they were running really light on fuel towards the end of the race, I was very concerned about that. But Derek Folk right now out in front. There's Brad Cathcart, the local man around Bathurst right now.
Did you see how close he got to that wall? Oh my goodness, coming into the chase. Unbelievable.
Going down Skyline there, gets on the brakes nicely. And let's take a look. What's happened to Kevin Irwin here? Going through the chase. Oh, yep, just took it way too quick. My car said, nope, not today, Satan. And
hey, Kevin,
gets it back going.
Kevin, there's there's stuff on the racetrack. It's called asphalt. Kevin, I'm talking to you. The stuff that you wanted to stay on is about 20 feet to the left of the grass. You don't want to be on the grass, Kevin. You want to stay on the asphalt. It's also black. Grass is green. Make sure to stay on the black stuff, not the green stuff, Kevin. Just, you know, a bit of advice. Maybe it'll help you in the future.
Yeah, brake broke a little too late there. Probably, actually, he probably did the same thing that I have done multiple times around here. Was taking in the beautiful views of this race circuit. Look down. Oh shoot! I have missed my braking board by 100 meters, and tried to slow down the car, but it doesn't work out ever. Now, question is that at the end of this one, you know, I'll take you back to Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Don't do
in
that.
The Lucas Oil Pro 4 truck.
Okay.
When you all somehow managed to find a way on to the oval.
Yeah.
And then found a divot or a jump somewhere. And I mean, you all sent these cars to space. Are we going to see anybody try and go down the Conrad Straight and take that jump to see how far they can go?
Not anymore. Yes, in the past, 100% they would do it, but they have added like a slowdown, not an actual iRacing slowdown, but it slows the car down before you get to that berm over the top of that tire wall. So you cannot get these cars to go flying like you used to. I think enough people were upset because people were doing that in actual races and gaining 5 to 10 positions by doing that. So iRacing was like, okay, we'll get rid of that sort of thing. So that's unfortunate because that was also a very, very cool jump. Somebody might try it. It just won't work anymore.
All right. Well, it looks like Charles Bushell has had a incident on track. Take a look and see what happened with Slow Trickle here. He's going into the final corner and rear end lost it.
I'm telling you, this Mustang, again, we bring up tire wear. I'm going to bring it up again. Wow, that was a hell of a turnaround, though, by Charles. Great job. That was amazing, Charles. He just keeps going like nothing ever happened. But you wonder if those rear tires are starting to struggle. Jake Ham on Chad Gross now. Looks like Jake is on the outside to the left side. It looks like Jake's got that move done. But now you got to hold on because now Chad, as long as he stays close, is going to have a chance going into turn 2. Through Griffin's Bend. Let's see how close. Oh, no, Chad's thinking about it right now. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Down the straight now. Looks like Jake's already got it done. Jake had a much better exit than Chad did going through turn number 1.
The problem with the Ford Mustang is that heaviness of the car. It does weigh more than the McLaren. It's hard to get the grip completely down where you feel really comfortable through turn 1. And Jake Ham took advantage of that weight difference, and away he goes. But here comes Chad Gross getting a good run as they ascend the mountain portion here at Bathurst, and he's actually right there, almost sniffing the fumes of Jake Ham's exhaust pipes.
Family show, Adam.
It's going to be family show.
Anyways,
I could say a whole lot worse things. Than sniffing fumes.
So could I. But yeah, we got to talk about this for... I'm sorry, now we're stepping on each other. We got to talk about this for half a second, though, because speaking of half a second, Jake Ham, last lap, was half a second faster than Brad Cathcart. We're only halfway through this race, and he's got about 4 seconds to gain to get to Brad. So this is still... It's still in the cards for Jake Ham to take second place here. Pit stops. They're going to be crucial in this race.
Well, if Jake Ham wants to walk out of Bathurst with both of his legs working, he will know better than not mess with Brad Cathcart. Just like last week in Chad Gross. Chad Gross was right there at the end, and he almost put a bumper to Brad Cathcart, and I was like, yeah, you're going to be almost the most hated man at Phillip Island if you do that. And luckily thought a moment about it and didn't do it. So, but you can see Jake Ham in the background. That's, you know, cue the Jaws theme as Brad Cathcart. I think he knows he's coming, but he's got to just keep going. Got to keep driving this race car quickly as he can. And we should be approaching that now. The majority of these drivers out there in the pits Wouldn't be surprised if it's not another lap or so. Based on the 45% fuel tank. There's lap times on the bottom there, and you can see Jake Ham has been quicker than Brad Cathcart last 5 laps except for lap number 8. So that tells you that Jake Ham's on a mission here, and even now we look at the sector times right now.
Look
Jake
at
Ham
that,
is
3 tenths in sector 2, man.
Almost, and he's almost 4 tenths up on Cathcart on this lap here. And I'm just sitting here, I'm amazed. We were watching some of the drivers earlier, and some of them going through McPhillamy Park. That's that fast left-hander as you just get to the top of the hill of the mountain, and I want to keep this onboard on for quite a bit of time here if we could, just because watching Jake Ham's line on some of these things, I mean, it's becoming quite the master class of how you drive this racetrack. Now, I mentioned earlier, it's one of the more difficult tracks to drive. It's actually not super hard to learn because there isn't a lot of braking, there isn't a lot of that. It's just really hard to master because of just the amount of high-speed corners and how much you can take on the apex, where you can't take the apex, where you kind of want to lift the throttle a little bit just to keep the car planted. It's just a lot of that around Bathurst, and it's the same way like the Nordschleife. The Nordschleife, very high speed. There isn't a lot of heavy braking zones. It's just a matter of knowing how fast, how hard you can take it, where you can take a really close in apex, how far do you have to stay away from curbing and all that. And that's the same way it is with Bathurst.
So Jake Ham has just set the fastest lap in the race by a bit of a margin, by about 3 tenths up to Derek Folk now. So Jake Ham now has fastest lap of the race. Derek is now going to have to respond because Derek wants that fastest lap as well. 203.152 to Derek's 203.4. Brad, last lap set a 204.35 compared to Jake's 203.15. So Jake is on the move. Now Brad, looking in his mirror, he may be looking in his relative at this point. He may not be able to see. He might be starting to see Jake, but you got to think, Brad, I've raced with him in an endurance race before. Brad always drives within himself. So we'll see if Brad starts to get a little bit nervous or if Brad just keeps driving like he does. Maybe force Jake into a mistake trying to catch him. But look at these lines like you're talking about, Adam. It's insane how smooth he's getting this McLaren around Bathurst.
It's an art. That's what it is. It's beautiful to watch. I love watching drivers who have a really good understanding of this racetrack just go around it. Again, we saw through McPhillamy Park right before Skyline, just gets off the throttle, get that car turned in, and as soon as he was through the apex, right back on the throttle, right on cue. And that's exactly how you're supposed to take that corner. You can gain so much time if you take that corner exactly like he did, and if you can just figure out a way how to get that faster just a little bit at a time, not fully send it with your foot to the floor. But you know how many wrecks you see in that one corner alone? You see so many guys that take that corner just way too quick. They get out wide. And for myself, what I like to do, and you didn't see Jake Ham do it, but what I like to do, I'll shift down. I'll get that. I'll use the engine braking kind of to my advantage a little bit, and to be able to use that engine braking and stuff as well. It's great because then you get the car nice and turned in, and then you're right back on the throttle, and you can gain a lot of time doing it that way. Some guys stay on the same gear. Sometimes they shift down. It really just depends on your driving style and how comfortable you are going high speed on a corner like that, especially when you got walls and then a sand trap on the other side. So Michelle Lynn on our screen now, 6th place, currently down 1 spot from her qualifying position. And now we have some pit stoppers. It's Matt Lass now into the pits here on lap number 14 of 21. He will just come in for some fuel, and he'll get right back out on to the track. One thing I don't like about this track is pit limit speed. It takes forever to get around, to get down to your pit box, it feels like. He'll get some fresh fuel. Away he goes. Also into the pits now is Kevin Irwin, getting himself some good old gasoline or petrol or fuel. So, and now Boschel is into the pits. Charles Boschel, who is currently running now in 11th after Tyler Brown gets by him. And it's actually for Tyler Brown, he's going to be real close to Kevin Irwin. He actually might get him down the front straight. We can cut to that real quick. Yep, now everyone's starting to come in here. Looks like Brad Cathcart, Jake Ham, Chad Gross, Andy Kosick. As Derek Folk now, he's seeing all that. He's going to go, okay, thank you. I'll just continue the drive and do what I do around Bathurst here. And really, Jake Ham and Brad Cathcart were very, very close to each other in the pits. I'll be curious to see who's going to come out on top. And Andy Kosick into the pits. He's finally down to his pit stall.
Oh, it got him.
Ham gets out, and Jake Ham does get the position on Cathcart in the pit lane. You don't see that very often. And Brad Cathcart will lose a spot in the pits, and he will fall down to third, as now Jake Ham is +9 on positions gained. That is incredible.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Jake's doing a great job. Mr. John O'Malley in the chat saying, go Bulliam and Chad. I would assume Bulliam is Derek Folk, and Chad is obviously Chad, but welcome in, John. Glad you're watching. But yeah, Derek just driving around right now, but Jake obviously got the jump on Brad into the pits even. So not only is Jake the fastest car as of this moment on track, he was very, very fast in the pits as well to be able to get that overtake done on Brad Cathcart. Jake now sitting very pretty in second place. Looking here at these intervals now, really not much going on other than Matt Lass and Charles Boschel back there. There's about 0.6 of a second between those two, so there may be a battle for 10th and 11th.
Well, Charles Boschel will be happy to be at least one position gain on that pit, as he was running in the last spot. Now Derek Folk is in here on lap number 16. He's really got no threat behind him. 42 seconds was the gap into the pit. So, and I don't think these pit stops take 42 seconds in total pit time. Oh, no, actually, pit lane time's about 49 to 50 seconds.
Yeah, things might get a little bit interesting here. If Jake can keep running those lap times that he's running, obviously, you come out, tires are a little bit cold, even if they don't change tires. Now Derek out of the pits. Now Derek is going to be dealing with that as well. Looking at pit exit, looking at time, 47.8 seconds for Derek Folk. You mentioned last week there was some fuel trouble. What do you think about this one, Adam?
I mean, that's total pit time. He was in his stall for 12 seconds, about the same amount of time as Jake Ham. So, if anything, I'm actually concerned with Jake Ham, actually, based on that. So take a look at that. But guess what? We have our race leader currently chilling by himself in our Discord server here. Let's go ahead and bring him in here and see what's going on. Derek, what are you doing out there? You're bullying the entire field.
I'm trying to fight these kangaroos and make sure they stay off the mountain here so they don't jump out in front of anybody.
Are you trying to make a Mustang joke and how big and powerful and loud it is and just keeping them scared away?
Oh, it's like driving a bus out here down a mountain. It's a challenge to drive. It's fun. It sounds great. I can't hear anything else that's going on with the engine roaring down the straight.
Derek,
all American power right there.
I got a quick question for you too as well. We were looking at pits times. You were stopped in your box about a 10th of a second slower or quicker than Jake Ham was. We're looking at Jake Ham's time right now. Are you going to try to get that fastest lap back?
Tempting. We'll see. I was making sure I had enough fuel saved for the first stint. So we'll kind of see how things are progressing here, but under no real threat at the moment. So, well, if it happens, it happens. If not, not a problem.
How is the track feeling? Is it obviously cooling down? Are the times getting faster? Does the car feel better as the sun starts to go down?
Yeah, it definitely feels good. It's gripping up real well out here. I'm just ecstatic to be able to drive out here in dry conditions versus a monsoon.
We talked about that at the beginning of the race, Derek. Well, keep pushing, buddy. And as long as you don't do anything super dumb, as long as you don't pull a wet Thomsen move, we will be talking to you very soon.
That's great. Thanks, guys.
Derek Folk there, obviously, like he said, he's not under threat, but as he mentioned him not being under threat, while we were talking to him, Jake Ham gained another 0.7 of a second. Still not enough to get to Derek Folk, but it is still, I think Jake now knows that he's just going to keep flashing his lights. We're going to go to him. That's just Jake really celebrating, I think, his championship in XSLR this season, Adam.
I mean, he can celebrate, but he's celebrating like a man. Well, that's not family friendly to say, but Jake Ham up 9 spots, starting to cut down the gap slowly but surely here. But the question is, does he have enough time to get to Derek Folk? Only with 5 laps remaining, lap 17 of 21. Derek Folk there, obviously just relaxed, very calm, cool, and collected. Has not made a mistake all series long in the GT3. That has been his bread and butter. Just not making a single mistake. And Jake Ham, he's just flashing every chance he has at this point. You know, that's actually... Derek can't see you, Jake. You cannot distract him doing that.
Man, but those lights are very bright. Just in case anybody has never run a GT3 endurance race before, those lights get extremely bright at night. So they can get very distracting when it gets super dark. It doesn't matter how far back they are. It seems to light up the whole entire universe. So just not quite dark enough yet either.
He's doing what I do when I'm just fed up with a race and I'm just flicking on the lights just to get people out of my way. But you can see there's now the lap differences between Ham and Cathcart, but now Cathcart and Gross.
Yeah, I'm now looking at this. Gross has started to pull that gap back to Brad Cathcart. This could get real interesting here. Again, Brad always driving within himself. He's not going to do anything dumb. He's going to make sure to bring that car home to the finish. But at the same time, Chad Gross is finding quite a bit of pace. Jake also down to 7.6 seconds now. Still not enough. But yeah, this is going to be a battle, I think, going to the end here.
It very well could be. It's just a matter of not if somebody slips up or what happens between now and the checkered flag. 5 laps to go. There's no 4 laps to go. 18 of 21. Got to do basic math. Sorry, I went to public school, so my math skills are not that great. Second place runner right now, Jake Ham. He has cut down the gap. It's now 7.3 seconds, but he's not cutting it down enough. Jake Ham, the throttle is on the right. So just pound it. All right. Just pound the throttle down and you'll find the time. And of course, right now it's still not a ton of battles. Like still, like I would call a battle right now besides Brad Cathcart and Chad Gross. That's getting closer, but also not close enough quite yet to see much action here. And here's a great aerial view of the beautiful Mount Panorama racing circuit, of course, located in Bathurst, New South Wales, Australia. One of my favorite all-time racetracks. And of course, anytime there's a race at Bathurst, you bet I'm watching it because you never know what you're going to see. Of course, past couple of years at Bathurst, the car count in the 12 hours of Bathurst has not been quite what you would expect. But also a couple of years for the last, not this year, but the year prior and year before that, it rained and we were under safety car for a majority of the race, which is never fun when you're when you're trying to enjoy a 12-hour race. It's just like the 24 hours of Le Mans last year where we were just under safety car for hours and hours and hours. There's not much happening. Could go to bed, wake up, they're still under safety car. Chad Gross not cutting down the gap anymore. He has lost a lot of time. I don't know where he would have lost it at, but Brad Cathcart has maybe just found maybe a new line or something, because there's the sectors right there, Brad. Yeah, 0.02 of a second lost there, but it just is.
This is where I start to wonder about, again, the tire wear when it comes to the Ford, the Mustang. You wonder if it's just come to a point where that tire wear on that Mustang has started to really kind of hurt Chad, because Chad is definitely the faster of these two drivers right now. But Brad is just sitting there running his own line. You can see Gross runs 0.4 of a second faster through sector 4, down to 1.5. And now you're going to see, as they start getting back up into the mountain section, that McLaren, I think, has kept its tires under it just a little bit better. And he's got 1 lap to get this done. So he's really got to push right now, Adam.
Here we go. We're about to approach 2 laps. Well, we are on 2 laps to go, as Derek Folk has now reached the tail end of the field with Matt Lass. It's taken 20 laps to get to Matt Lass, and we are going to finally see our, we may not even see a lapper, because they're going to go up the mountain and there's no way Folk is going to try and overtake Jake. He's still, Jake, he can't see you, buddy. It's okay, though. It's okay, buddy. I know you're trying, buddy. You're okay.
Jake's still over there flashing his lights. I think just having a good time. Down to 6 seconds. 1.1, though. Look at that interval between Chad Gross and Brad Cathcart for the last step on the podium. It's getting real close back there.
It is getting real close. Chad Gross trying to cut down the gap. But, you know, again, this is one of those you can't overtake on the mountain. So you kind of, you know, you're pushing. And then you finally get to him. And then it's, what do? You can't, can't drive around him. You can't pass him. Can't go down the inside unless you both want to crash.
Well, you can see right here, look at that gap. It started to extend through the mountain. So again, Brad has been able to pull about 1/10 or 2 on Chad, and that's the one thing that you can see there. Look, about 1/10 of a second slower was Chad than Brad going through the top of the mountain. But again, watch this. Get back down to the straightaway. Chad now down to 1.5, 1.6. We'll see what happens. He was able to pull in about 0.5 of a second the last lap. If we're going to see something, it's going to be a full send by Chad Gross on the final lap here, Adam.
Derek Folk about to take the white flag. One more time around here, around the 3.82 mile circuit of Mount Panorama. And that is pretty much all she wrote. J-Cam, he's 4.3 seconds back. Okay, Jake, now you can flash your lights. This is the perfect time to flash your light. He can see you now. And
of course, now he's not going to do it.
The minute he gets close, he stops. Oh, man.
Yeah, this is impressive. Really impressive driving as well by, I want to mention, Jake Ham. I mean, the guy has not been able to qualify these GT3s to save his life, but he has pulled that gap in from 10 seconds after the pit stops down to 4. Let's just talk about how quick Jake is. I mean, the guy knows how to drive these cars. If he had qualifying pace, I think really there would be a battle up there. Look at that, 2:03.152. Again, still the fastest driver on track, and I don't think that Derek is going to be able to get this done, but Chad Gross has gotten into 1 second, but Derek's not going to get the fastest lap. We're looking at the battle, though, between Derek and Mr. Cathcart right now. Or between Chad and Mr. Cathcart, my bad.
See, you've done it twice now, where you've confused me here tonight. Brad Cathcart having to hold on for dear life here as we are on the descent of the final time of Mount Panorama and the final few corners of the XSLR season number 9 here. This is gonna get close. This is gonna get hairy. I wish we had dual box so we could see what the leader was doing. And I don't think it's gonna be enough. Derek Folk going through the chase now, and Derek Folk will win 4 in a row, an accomplishment that Mr. Thomsen here could not accomplish this season. Derek Folk wins 4 in a row at Mount Panorama.
Congrats to Derek. Real quickly, there's a 0.5 of a second battle between Kevin Irwin and Charles Michelle, 9th and 10th place. Congrats to Jake, P2. But here comes Kevin and Charles. It is super duper close right now.
Now they're still on the final lap here, and everyone's getting a show here. And Brochelle's, he's going on the inside line there. Can't quite make the move as Kevin Irwin cuts in front of him and can't quite get it done. But Charles Michelle trying to fight it back here, and no, he's not going to be close enough. Now we're into the tricky part. Charles Michelle's got to be patient and just has to be ready to strike when he is able to. And this is going to get real hairy real quickly here. Let's see. And oh, who is that? That was Tyler Brown. Tyler Brown lost the rear wing of his car. He has now gone down to 10th. That actually, now the battle is for 8th between Kevin Irwin and Charles Michelle. Michelle trying to get that Ford Mustang as close and easy can to the back of Kevin Irwin. He's still really close, but it's not close enough. And let's see, Forrest Elbow. Got to be careful here. Kevin Irwin goes wide. He went wide and used his board.
Oh man, Kevin in the wall out of Forrest Elbow. Here we go. Down to, this is gonna get where it's gonna get real interesting down to the chase. Kevin gonna have to do a whole bunch of defending here. Charles left, right. Kevin just sitting in the middle of the racetrack. Now he's got the line, but here we go through the chase for the final time this season in XSLR. What does Kevin do? Kevin gets a little bit loose on braking, the bolt in the grass. Oh, Charles is around. Oh no, Charles Bochelle had such a chance. Kevin Irwin, what's happening?
He's had a drive-through. He's had a
No
drive-through.
way.
Charles, get on the grass. Come on, get up.
Go, Charles, go. What's happening? Oh, no. Kevin's got to get to the line. Kevin's got to get to the line. Here comes Charles across the line. I don't know. I think Kevin Irwin still got it. Now the question is,
the penalty won't apply.
I think, Charles, you're right. The penalty will not apply. So I don't know what happened there. I really don't. But here comes Jake. You can see everybody trying to get to that jump that you were talking about at the beginning of the race. Just can't happen. Derek Folk locks out, by the way, the GT3 discipline. And there's another one right there. But yes, locks out the GT3 discipline. Congrats to Derek Folk for making it look easy. These cars are not easy to drive. Great driving by Jake Ham. Like Stephanie, his wife, just said, 11th to 2nd. Unbelievable by Jake. It was a hell of a race at the end there, Adam.
Yes, it was. And of course, Derek Folk. Okay. All right, some typical XSLR post checker flag carnage. But our top 3, Derek Folk, Jake Ham, and Brad Cathcart. We'll get those guys interviewed here tonight. And we get to talk to Brad Cathcart 2 weeks in a row. How about it? That's awesome.
We do. We're going to do something a little bit unorthodox here, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm coming in here and I'm screwing up your flow, Josh. We're going to go to Brad Cathcart first. We've got to talk to the Australian raced at his home track first. So, Brad, congratulations on your P3. Chad Gross started pulling that gap in towards the end. Did you ever get worried at all?
I was monitoring the gap and I didn't know. I thought I was good, but he was pulling it in.
Well, he was, but you were still able to hold on to that P3. You obviously qualified very, very well. You know this track. What happened? Was Jake just faster? I mean, where'd you lose all the pace at, Brad?
Jake was just faster. I'm guessing his qualifying wasn't great, but I was watching him come up, and he picked the safest place to pass me, which was good in the pits.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That was a hell of a battle in the pit lane as well, Brad. But I want to talk about, we're looking at your car right now. I just want to, first of all, congratulate you on your P3, but also congratulate you on one of the most beautiful McLaren paints I think I've ever seen. You did a great job on that paint. Kind of talk us through, like, what got you started in car painting?
I've always been one that likes the playing side of racing, whatever I've been doing in the past. So in this case, I can paint cars, or as my wife likes to call it, colouring in.
Well, I mean, congratulations, Brad, again on your P3, and again, a beautiful, beautiful paint job. You took P3 at Phillip Island. You took P3 at Bathurst. What's the secret? It can't be because you're from there, right? It can't be.
I think that's the only thing. Last week was a bit of a lucky one. People started crashing around me. But no, this week I had some good pace. I like this car over the top of the mountain, especially coming down it. I always seem to grab a few tenths coming down the mountain. It just felt safe under me.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked, you drove a brilliant race. Obviously, I've driven with you in the McLaren at Watkins Glen, had an absolute blast there as well. So I do want to bring up next season before I get you out of here. We're going to do F3s and TCRs for the road course section. Have you driven either one of those cars, and are you going to be running with XSLR next season? Are you excited?
F3, I ran F3 when it was the F4 Metal Attitude, and didn't have a great time there.
Yeah.
TCRs I've tried, and I just don't get them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but, will I be running it? I don't know. Probably will. Probably not the dirt. My ping's just too high to run dirt trucks and dirt ovals. The cars are too close, so it just doesn't work.
Right. Well, here's the deal. I hope to see you again in XSLR next season. It's been an absolute blast having you on here. Obviously, you've become a very, very good friend of mine, even though you're all the way over there on the other side of the... You basically might not even be on the earth over there in Australia, but congrats, Brad, on your P3 here. Obviously, podium last week as well. Anybody you want to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Just everyone, especially the league itself. They gave me a lot of help when we were racing 87s, which was completely alien to me. But yeah, everyone gave me good advice most of the time, except for you. You said the fuel would be fine.
Whoa. What? Don't bring up the fuel thing, okay? Come on, Brad. Stop. You can't be coming from you two.
It's just too easy.
I support this.
Yeah, so everyone in the league, and broadcast has been great, and I've just enjoyed the ones that I've run this season, so hope to be back.
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. Well, we hope to see you back next season, and congrats again, and yeah, buddy, I will be talking to you here soon, but absolutely masterclass of a drive. You can drive these cars. Just in case anybody was worried about Brad Cathcart when we were in the 87 stock cars, this guy knows how to drive. But he just can't drive the 87s, but he'll get there. Oh, one more question, Brad, before we go. Bathurst 1000, where do you think we're going to finish, you and me?
Hopefully at the finish line and not in the pits.
Okay.
If you ain't bought it yet?
I do have the car. I just haven't run it yet. We're going to leave it we're going to finish at the finish line. So nobody can be upset if we just finish. It doesn't matter where we finish. So congrats, Brad, again, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
That was Brad Cathcart, P3 here tonight. P3 again last week as well, doing an absolutely great job in the final two races of the season. Who do you want, Adam?
We'll just go in reverse order here and grab our second place finisher and our Season 9 XSLR champion, Jake Ham. Jake, not you can drive this car, you just can't qualify.
I think I have a problem. I cannot not push. I was going for broke, man. I'm like, the only chance I got of beating Derek is I got to be right next to him, and that bit me in the butt pretty bad.
Well, again, hard charger of the race, plus 9 spots. You know, you're like me when it comes to qualifying. Can't qualify worth a crap, but you can at least race really well and move yourself up the order.
Yeah, I absolutely love this track. I think when I started iRacing, this was one of the very first endurance races I did. And it was a curse. I think my average lap time was like about around 2:08, I think, for the entire couple stints I did. And I put in a lot of time and effort into it. And now, anytime we have a chance to run this, honestly, in any car, I absolutely love it. You know, it's a fun drive. It's very technical and challenging, you know, as you're coming down the hill, even when you're going up. But yeah, the McLarens have awesome straight line speed, and this is the first time I've ever ran it in these cars, and it's a beauty.
Well, it's official as of tonight. You are the XSLR Season 9 champion.
Boo! Boo!
And we have the runner-up in here.
Jake.
Obviously, very
Boo!
heartbroken. And talk about just your season as a whole. I mean, it just seemed like you were one of the top contenders right from the get-go when we started with the 410 wing sprint car, dominated in the 87 Cup car, struggled in the Pro 4 trucks, and then here in the GT3s just seemed like you were, again, another top contender.
Yeah, I think what I enjoy most about this league is you have the opportunity to run so many different series, and so you excel at some, you're not as good in others, you know. And I think where I really surprised myself this year was the sprints. I could not believe I finished, honestly, in the top couple. It's still mind-blowing. I don't ever race them, and this time it just clicked, you know. And then pulling in the 87s, that's my pride and joy. I absolutely love running those cars. And then really it was just kind of minimizing, you know, the finishing in worse spots. So in previous seasons, you know, I'd get probably a little heated or lose my cool and, you know, just finish in a really bad spot. And so this season, just, you know, took it upon myself to kind of really not push beyond the means of where I could finish. And I think that really helped any dropped weeks or anything like that. So I'm very pumped at how it finished out.
Well, don't mention this to Adam, but
Don't
in
don't say anything.
In that wing sprint car, you won 3 races in a row and then swept the 87 Cup cars.
Wow.
I mean, that's 7 wins right there. So
I feel so much long ago. I didn't realize, I can't remember that I won that many. I mean, maybe we should run those more often. Hey.
So listen, guys, this is the last time you're ever going to hear from Jake Ham. He's going to mysteriously disappear from XSLR after this season because he beat me. I don't know what happened, but Jake, I mean, it's been nice knowing you. I think you have like some serious family emergency or something that's going to knock you out of XSLR for the rest of existence.
That very well could be. I tell you what, I run another league on Friday nights, and my kids are growing up, you know, and getting in activities, and so I can't run a Friday league anymore because of football and cheerleading and dancing, all that stuff coming up, you know. So this is honestly, this is going to be probably the only one I can run at them. So
oh man,
tons of time to it.
Well, that's not good news for me at all. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to hear at all, Jake. Actually, you know what? We can just end it right here. We don't have to ask him who he wants to thank. We can just end it here because I got to go practice for next season now.
That's right.
Well, I'll ask him who you want to thank for honestly, just this season.
Yeah, appreciate Adam. Adam Thompson. That one. I appreciate him having the league. You know, he's always fun to hang around. He's been through he's been through a lot with this league. You know, we have our ups and downs. We have a good group of people that are in there now. We have some good eggs, bad eggs. You know, Adam's done a good job of weeding out the bad eggs, and now again, pretty tight-knit group, and it's fun to race against the people that are in here. And so hopefully we can build on that for next season. And then obviously you guys, Slow Motion Broadcasting, it's so much fun to go back and watch the broadcast. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's like watching real life racing, as close as us guys are probably going to get, and then obviously friends and fam, it's fun to have them talk about it, and come on and watch the stream and get involved. And I honestly got to give a shout out to Laugh With Me podcast. Jeremy Odom, that's my wife's cousin, threw a stamp on our rig or on the cars this year. He's a ginger redhead that loves to talk about what's he got? Crohn's disease. So if you ever want to talk to an up and coming comedian or listen to an up and coming comedian that talks about his Crohn's disease and how much he hates getting it, it's kind of funny guy. So hop on to, what is that, Spotify? Yes, but shout out to Spotify too. I just gotta thank everybody. I'd like to thank President Trump. Great.
Oh man.
Anyway, thanks.
Anyways,
guys.
Jake, real quick before I let you go, I think there's one person that you really need to thank, and that is your wife, Stephanie. This is the first time I've been able to look at the chat as it's been going on. She's got to be your biggest supporter, man. Like, she is just, I don't know how she knows so much about racing, but she was following your whole race, Jake, and that's great for you. Well, not great for you, probably, because that means she follows everything that you do in your life. If she is that close and knows that much about racing, I'm scared to know how much she knows about everything else.
Huge support to her. She gets to watch the kids. We just took on a Frenchie that we adopted, rescued her, and so she's watching the animals too and keeping the house down the fort. And she, giving me the opportunity to do this is awesome that she does that. I know not everybody has a chance to come down for a couple hours and hang out with some friends and get to do this, so it's really nice that I have the opportunity and she allows me to do that.
Well, I'm going to allow myself now to give you a shout out and your wife, Stephanie. Obviously, with the newborn baby, the wedding and everything, you guys have always kind of been there. You guys have sent us stuff, and you didn't need to do that. Obviously, we've just met online. So really cool to see. We talked about this at the beginning, but the camaraderie that goes on with stuff like this. I've never met you, Jake, right? But I feel like I know you, and I feel like I know your family just because of how we talk and the stuff we talk about. So thank you so much for being such a vital part of XSLR.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for having me and looking forward to next season.
Absolutely. Jake, thank you so much, man, for giving me an absolute blast of a time for the first 12 races of this season. It's just been an unbelievable, I'm going to say honor, which sounds weird, but it's been an honor, first of all, to run this league and an honor to race against someone like you, having you around for as long as you've been around. I've told you this in DMs, but you made this season probably the most fun season I've ever had in XSLR. So thank you so much. Thanks
for the kind words, man. I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to continuing to racing with you. And you, honestly, man, it's super fun racing against you. The only thing that we're missing out, getting to do some endurance races. Hopefully we can do those together and get on the same team. I think that would be a blast. Put our couple crews together and get out there, and I think we take home the dub multiple times. So. Let's do it, Jake. Thank you so much. Congrats on championship, buddy. Thanks, sir. Hey, congrats on second. Oh, don't get out of here. Kick him out. He's gone. He's out. Nobody needs to hear that. Get him out of here. Congrats again, Jake, on the championship. Now we've got one more. I'm surprised nobody else came in to interview. Oh my God, there's no music. Wow, I'm surprised there's no type of hot dog music. What were you playing the other day, Derek, when you came in here?
Oh, yeah, just a funny song we like to make fun of our friend Jack. He's a big hot dog guy and everything through and through. So that song goes out for him. Okay. Well, Derek, when we get to the race tonight at Bathurst, Jake was pretty quick. You were not able to pull that fastest lap away from him. I mean, he pulled about 4 seconds on you after the pit stop. Yeah, that McLaren was flying. Yeah, once those guys started hitting that low fuel and really kind of moving and getting into a groove with those warm tires, it really made a big difference. I mean, I kept seeing the time slowly coming down. I knew I had a big enough gap, so I really didn't need to over push the car. When you try to overdrive it, sometimes that can cause errors. So tonight I just tried to keep it as clean as possible and maintain my pace.
Well, you did that, and you did it brilliantly. You've done it brilliantly for the past 4 races. You locked it out, won every race in the GT3s. Obviously, I'm going to ask you now. I know there's a team that you want to promote. And in case anybody wants to get on a team that actually tries to win, Derek, what's your team, and what are you trying to do for endurance racing here?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So at Zoot Lord Racing, yeah, we're definitely striving to kind of put together good endurance teams. It really piques my interest through and through, as well as the guys that race with us. We're really trying to focus on the consistency aspect, pulling in the strategy that you really don't get in the shorter sprint races, and ultimately just learning and trying to get better across all disciplines. And I got to give a big shout out to the XSLR family and the SMB here. This season has been fantastic. It has taught me so many different things that I didn't know about all the different driving styles and different cars out there. It's been an absolute blast, and I'm hoping that next season will be just as fun with the new change up with all the new cars. So really looking forward to it. But yeah, it's been a great experience. It's been fun through and through, and look forward to many races to come.
I wanted to bring that up. So we're to the first, well, not first. We haven't decided how we're going to make the schedule yet, but we do know what cars are going to be on that schedule. We've got the F3 for the open wheel, and we've got the TCRs for the sports car. Have you run either one of those cars? Are you excited about it? How do you think you're going to do?
Yeah, I really enjoy open wheel. I've driven it in the past, not a whole lot lately. Typically in the official races, it can get a little chaotic if folks aren't extremely competent in open wheel, because it's very easy to get damage. You can break a wing, very easy to kind of get some wheel damage. So really looking forward to kind of doing that racing. And TCRs, yeah, they're a fun car to drive. Definitely different than a lot of things that we've driven this year. Especially big difference from the GT3 class. Learning to drive those front wheel drive cars is a little different style. But yeah, they can be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to racing you next season, Derek. Congratulations. You found your way, by the way, all the way up into P3 this season, and that's without you doing some of the races. So congratulations. I mean, it's just the GT3 series in general, you were just able to put on an absolute masterclass of a show. So I'm hoping next season that maybe we switch it up and it might be a little bit closer, but that means, Derek, that you've got to actually race with us the whole season. Can you do that?
Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to it, especially with 20 races coming ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek, thank you so much for being part of the league. And I'll be talking to you here in probably about 5 minutes whenever I can find my way out of this chat.
That sounds great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the hard work this season.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you close us out, Adam.
All right. Thank you very much, Derek, and congratulations to him on a series sweep and winning the final race of season 9 of XSLR. Real quickly, Adam, what can we expect for season 10?
Okay, so what we can expect for season 10 is going to be way different than what you guys saw here in season 9. So basically, what we're doing is we're adding the open wheel discipline because it's been added to iRacing. We're a couple seasons behind the boat on that. So for the open wheel, we're going to do 4 races in each discipline. With 5 disciplines, that means 20 races. It's going to be the same amount of drop weeks. We're going to have 3 drop weeks. So just be ready for it's going to get a bit more heated. People aren't going to be able to miss as many races. So open wheel, they will be the Dallara F3 car in iRacing. The sports car, which is the other asphalt road discipline, they're going to be the TCRs. Those are the front wheel drive. How do I say? I can't say hatchback, can I, Adam? But they're the front wheel drive TCR. That's all I can say is they're touring cars, TCRs. Then we're going to move on to the dirt road. And dirt road has been dominated in the past 2 seasons in XSLR by the trucks. We're not doing that. We're going to do the rally cars. So we're going to have the Volkswagen Beetle, the Subaru WRX, and the Ford Fiesta in the rally cars. So those 3 cars will be in the dirt road. Dirt oval, total departure from what we've done in the past. We have never run this car in XSLR. It's going to be the Dirt Big Block Modified. So it's going to take, it's going to take a lot of practice from everybody to get used to not having the downforce that they had in those 410 wing sprint cars. And they still have almost the same amount of, Adam, you know this better, they may have maybe a little bit more power than those 410 wing sprint cars. Am I correct on that?
They have a little bit less. The Big Block Modified is it's a Big Block engine that in a kind of, if you think of a late model, for example, you just move the driver from the left side of the car to the center of the car. Actually, some really good racing has come out of those, especially in the northeast of the country, where they're primarily raced. So, but no, they're really fun cars to drive. They have the 358 modified, which is just a smaller engine than the Big Block Modified is. It's a crate motor. So,
yeah, absolutely. No, it's going to be an absolute blast to see that. And then finally, the Asphalt Oval, we're running the ARCA cars. The new ARCA, not the Legends ARCA. So it's going to be interesting to see how people can adapt from going from a 1987 NASCAR, which I'm pretty sure, even though it looked like they had disc brakes, I'm pretty sure they still had drum brakes. Going to an ARCA car is going to be quite interesting. We were waffling between the Gen 4 and the ARCA. We decided to go with the ARCA. So it's going to be an absolute blast next season.
All right. And of course, coming up here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, we have a great event coming up with the USRA, the United Sim Racing Association, the Sizzlin' Sebring 180. That date has now been changed to August 9th of this year. It's a 3-hour endurance race featuring GT3 and LMP2 cars. Get your team signed up now with the United Sim Racing Association. You can watch the broadcast live here on Slow Motion Broadcasting on August 9th, here in just a couple of weeks' time. So hope you join us for that. Make sure you all hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to know when we go live. We're trying to achieve 5,000 subscribers. And if you love iRacing content and iRacing events like we broadcast here, you want to subscribe here, as we are growing. It seems like every single month we're getting something new in the door here at Slow Motion Broadcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude season 9 of XSLR. I'm Adam Thomsen for Adam Thomsen and everyone else here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. We want to say thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on August 9th for Sizzlin' Sebring.